guys, welcome to Data Speak, listening to your data. So, our topic today is how to create pivot tables and dashboard in Excel. How to create pivot tables and dashboard in Excel. So, if today happens to be your first time in this channel, I would like you to subscribe. Subscribe and hit the like button. So, without wasting much of your time, let's get busy. Okay, so here's the data we're going to be working with. It's a sales data. So, what I normally do first for working with any data, I first of all check the dimension of the data. So what I need to do, I first of all check how many columns do we have. If we check below here, we find that we have 16 columns. So let's check how many rows do we have. So the rows we have is 701. So you might ask me, what function of the keyboard am I pressing? So what I'm pressing is Control Shift down arrow to give me the last cell value. Then if I want to go up, I press Control Shift up arrow. Take me to the top. So another thing I need to do, I just normally would reduce the font size to see the data at once so that I know if there's any gap. So what you need to understand is that if you're working with pivot table, we're working in pivot table. Now, one of the assumptions that your data need to be clean. Your data need to be clean and well structured. So just looking at our data is clean and it's well structured. So if you have data that is not clean, I advise you to first of all do the cleaning in Power Query, then save it, then use pivot table. So you can check some of my one of my videos I did on Power Query data cleaning. So without wasting much of your time, now let's activate our pivot table. So how do we activate our pivot table? Just click on any cell in it in the data, and you click insert. You click the pivot table. Now you see by default the pivot table will give you the range. Will give you the range. So it will give you the range. So now it's asking us now choose where you want the pivot table reports to be placed. Now we have the new worksheet, we have the existing worksheet. So what does it mean by these two options? So let me go with the existing worksheet. So once I click on the existing worksheet, it's going to request me to give him a location where I want it to be. So what it simply means that I want my pivot table to be in the same worksheet with my data. So now on the location, I can just click. For example, let me give it U2. When I hit OK, you find that now my pivot table is now on the same worksheet with my data. So the reason why I don't normally go for this is that it's going to make my work crowded. So, and it's not, my work not going to be neat. So what I would normally do, I prefer the second option. So I'll just simply redo what I did before. So let's launch back our pivot table. Just highlight any cell, go to insert, click on pivot table, then now on new worksheet. So I'll click OK. Click OK. So another thing you need to understand is that now there may be a time mistakenly you click outside. You notice that the table on the right hand side has disappeared. So how do you bring it back? You just go back, click inside the pivot table frame, and you find your data. You find your data. Okay, so with the help of our data, we're being asked to answer this question, this 5 insightful question based on our data. Based on this data, we're asked to do what? Answer these 5 questions. So what's the question is all about? The first question says, which country had the highest total profit? And the second question says, what is the monthly trend of sales across the years? Which product had the highest and lowest unit sold? How did discount level or discount bound affect total sales profit? Which product country combination contributed most to the total sale? So we're going to answer this question with the help of this data through pivot table. So the first question, it says, so what I would do is that I'm going to, since we have 5 questions, I'm going to give it 5 working sheets. I'll answer the question is 5 working sheets, and later on we'll combine them together, create our dashboard. So this one, I'll rename it question one. I'll give it question one. So what is our question one? You just copy it. So I'll press it at the top. So our question says, which country had the highest total profit? Which country had the highest total profit? So what we're dealing with now, we're dealing with countries and profit. So I'll take the country, drag it to the row, then get our profit. Our profit, put in the value. So what I'll do, I'm gonna format it, number format. To work in the currency, I'll give it 0 decimal place. It's in dollar. Now what has been format. So here I'm gonna rename it, give it as total profit. Then the row label, I'm going to rename it, give it as what? Country. So now the first question has been answered. It said, which country had the highest total profit? Now, what we need to do now, we need to what? Sort. We need to sort. So I'll right click on the, so I'll right click, go to sort. So we want the largest to the smallest. Now, by so doing, we now know that France, our data is telling us France is a country that had what? The highest total profit. Now, we're going to put this in a chart. So how do you activate pivot chart? Now, if you see at the top, we have this what we call PivotTables. We have the analyze and the design. Now, the design has to do has many functions. Row headers, column headers, has to do with the design of the pivot table size, talks about layout. So for this one, I've covered in one of my previous videos. You can check what the function is about. So what we're interested in about analyze, and we want to launch our pivot chart, which is right here. So I'll just click the pivot chart. Now, the chart, I'm going to use bar chart to represent this data. Also, cluster column chart will be okay, but for this one, I'm going to use the bar chart to represent it. So the bar chart. So click OK. There we have our graph. So what will happen is that I'm going to create all the graph, then bring them together, then format it. So this is the first question. This is the first question. Now let's go to question 2. We rename it. Let me go to the data first. We get question 2. Question 2. Let's go back to our data. So just launch our pivot table. Or another thing we can do is that instead for we to relaunch the pivot table from fresh, so we can just go to question 1. This just highlight everything, then copy, come to question 2, then I'll paste it. You see, once I paste it, the pivot table what will appear. So instead for you to start doing the pivot table from fresh. Now, the second question we're about to answer, the second question says, what is the monthly trend of sales across the year? So let's grab our question, the second question. So let's put it up there. So it says, what is the monthly trend of sales across the years? What is the monthly sales trend across the year? So here we're gonna be working with the month name, year, and sales. So I'm just gonna remove this one off. So the first thing I would do is that I'll drag the month name, a row. Then I'll drag the year to column, and the sales value, bring it to my place. Now we have what the question which says what is the monthly trend of sales across the year. So the next thing we're going to do is to format. Right click, number format, currency, zero. Now we have it. So we now need to put this one in our chart. So the same way, go to analyze, pivot chart. So the chart I'm going to use here is I'm going to use the line chart will be okay to use. Also, the area chart will also good to use. So because we were talking about what the monthly, we're talking about the trend. We're talking about the trend. So let's go for the line chart. So we have different option of line chart. We have the stack line chart. We have the stack 100%. So I'll go with the line chart, the first one. Click OK. Here we have our second question being answered, which says, what is the monthly trend of sales across the year? What is the monthly trend of sales across the year? So that's for question 2. So let's go for question 3. We just need to do the same thing. We rename question 3. So let's copy the question 3 first. Another thing you need to know is that you can do all this in one sheet. You can do it all this in one sheet. So, but I choose to separate it just to make the work look neat. So I'll do the same thing. Now, if you notice, when I copied the pivot table to the question 2, you see I didn't change the country. I didn't change this to month name. This should be what month name. Sorry for that. So let me just change it. Month name. So we need to be careful when you're copying. Then now we now have what a sum of cells and year. So I'm just gonna copy this. Control C. Go to question 3. Control V. So just gonna take this off. So third question says, which product had the highest and the lowest unit sold? Which product had the highest and the lowest unit sold? So here we're talking about product and unit sold. So what will happen is that I'll take my product, drag my product. So that's just the good thing about pivot table. It's just about you just drag and drop. So the unit sold. So this is the unit sold. So I just need to rename this. The unit sold. I need to rename this one. So which I'm going to use the bar chart. The bar chart can also be good to represent this. The column chart can also be. So let's use the column chart. So I'm just going to activate pivot chart the same way. Click on the pivot chart. Let's go. Yes, the first one. The first one. So on the column chart, we have the cluster column chart. We have the stack column chart. So I will go with the first one. So I'm just going to hit OK. So here is our third question. So let's go to the fourth question. Question number 4. So what I simply do is that I just need to copy this. Copy our question. How discount band affect the total sale? That's the question we're going to answer. Paste it. So this, I just need to take this out. So the question 4 says, how did discount levels or discount band affect the total sales? So where we're going to be working with the discount band and sales and profit. So let's get the discount band. We drag it to the row. Then our sales, profit. So format it, currency. See. So here we'll rename it discount band. So here we'll give it total sale. Here with total profit, we'll just rename it. So we're going to rename this from rename to discount band. This will rename it to total sale. And we'll rename this to total profit. So we need to format this. Currency. So you see, there's something I just noticed. Now, if we format this without not highlighting it, we have this. We have something like this, the dollar sign with the bit space. Then if we highlight all of them and format it, we'll have something like this. So like I prefer to, let me see if we can do currency. Okay, so it depends on which one you want. So you can go for whatever you want. So now we have discount bound. The question says, how did discount levels and bound affect total sales and profit? So we just need to put in our pivot chart. So here I'm going to use a combo chart. The combo chart to represent this. So the combo chart for the total sales will be the cluster column, whereas the total profit will be the line chart. So here is it. So the last question is question 5. Before we start designing our dashboard. So we're going to do the same thing to copy. See, please. Then the questions which says that, so which product country combination contribute most to the total sales? So take it to the 5th question, paste it. Then here, so take this off. So our question will answer says which product country combination contributed most to total gross sale. So here we'll be working with the country, the product. So the country, I'm gonna drag it. Then the product, I'm gonna put it the column, and the gross sales to the value. Gross sales to the value. So I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change it to rename it to country. Please be careful whenever you're copying on pivot table to try to rename it. So let me format. So here we are. So what we need to do now, we need to put it in the chart. So stack bar chart or 100% stack chart. Stack bar chart or 100% bar chart will be okay for this. Stack bar chart or 100% stack column chart will be okay for this. So I'll go for the stack bar chart. So activate our pivot chart. This. So we'll go to our stack or bar chart. So the first one is the cluster. The second one is the stack bar chart. So which is one? I'll hit OK. Now we've answered our 5 questions. We've answered our 5 questions. Now it's the time for us to design our dashboard. So I'm just going to give it a new sheet. I'll rename it dashboard. So first of all, I'll go to the view section. I would want to have the grid line. Then I would want to give it a color. So let me highlight. So I'll give it, this background. Okay. So the first thing I'll do first is to go to 1, copy the chart, Ctrl C, come to our dashboard. This is somewhere here. Go to question 2, read, come to our dashboard, paste it. Go to question 3, read, to our dashboard, somewhere. Go to question 4, copy it, dashboard. This is somewhere there. And the last question 5, copy the chart, our dashboard. This is somewhere. So I'm going to take this away. Now, so what I need to do now, our dashboard. So I'm going to give it a title first. I'm going to give it a title. Let me insert text box. So I'm going to give it title called sales and profit performance dashboard. Highlight it, bold, increase the font size, and put it center. So I'll go for the blue. Now it's time for us now to format our chart. So once you click on every chart, by the right hand side, you see this plus sign and this brush sign. So the plus sign has many chart element. The axis, for example, if I click this one, you find that no axis. This is the chart title. The chart title. So I'll start with the chart title. So our chart title is country wise profit analysis. Country wise profit analysis. Just make it bold. Wise profit analysis. So next thing I'll go, I don't like the grid line. I'm going to take it off. Then this, I'm going to put the data label. I'm going to take this axis off. I just highlight it. Then I click delete. Then these ones, I don't need it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide all the field button on the chart. Now we have our chart. So let me just resize it. So since the question says, what is the total profit by country? So what I would do is that total profit. So we have the legend, which we don't, I don't need it. So I'm going to take off the legend. So here is it. So let's go to the second question. The second question says, what is the total unit sold per product category? What is the total unit sold per what? What is the total unit sold per product category? Which is this one. So we're just going to do the same thing. So just going to format it. Here, first of all, take off the grid line, then the title. Title. So the title is unit sold by product type. Unit sold by product type. Unit sold by product type. So just highlight it. So next thing first, I take off the legend. I don't need the legend. Then this, I don't need it. I'm just going to delete it. And this one, I'm going to hide all of them. And I'll add my data label. So unit so this is our this is the unit sold by product type. Unit sold by product type. So if you notice, so we can also do what? Format the number from here and format the data label from here. So it depends. Okay, where do I want to put the data label? I can say I can put it inside base or inside N or the center or outside N. So you can do the format here. So we can do also the format number here. So whatever you want, is it numbers, is it currency or so number. So the decimal places, I don't need decimal places. I'm gonna put 0. So I'm gonna put 0. So we're done with the formatting of this one. So I'm gonna take this off. So just take it up a bit. So let me just reduce the font size. So we'll put to adjust this one, right? So I just need to first of all format all of them, then I'll start arranging them. So the other question says, what is the monthly trend of sales over the year? Monthly trend of sales. So first I'm going to add it, give it a title. So the title says, title is monthly sales trend. Monthly sales trend. I'm going to make it bold. So the next thing is that I'm going to remove the grid line. Then for the legends, I would like it to be at the top. Let's see below, bottom. Okay, let's give it at the top. So I'm going to remove all this. I'm going to remove all this. So this, I'm going to take it off because I would like to give. Then add my data label. So we can also go on to format the type of style we want. Do we want it this way? It depends on you, on your choice. Which one would you like? So for now, I will leave it like this. Then you can choose the color you want. So another thing again you can do in this aspect is that for the line chart, I can format it. So for example, I can format it. So let's so for the line chart. So let me go down. So I can change it towards a smooth line. So you see right now our line chart is smooth. So let me do for this one also, make it smooth. Then let's go for the marker. Give it that one. So for this one also. So here we go. So now the line chart we have formatted it. But if you notice our numbers are crowded. So just gonna expand the chart so we see it. So the fourth question we're gonna format that says what is the impact of discount bound? Impact of discount bound. So which has to do with this. So we'll do the same thing. We'll remove the grid line. Then hide all this. Then give it a chart, our chart title. Our chart title, profit by discount bound. Profit by discount bound. Hold the title. Now I'm going to remove this, just highlight it, delete it. Then over here, we'll give it a data label. Then for a line chart, I can format it, make it smooth. Make it smooth. Then go to the marker option. So here, our legend, I'll take it at the top. Here we go. Now, so the last chart we're going to format, which is the number 5 question, we said which product generated the highest profit this year. So we're just going to do the same thing. So the legend, I'm going to put it at the top. And all these fields, I'm going to hide. I'm going to hide all of them. And the grid line, I don't need the grid line. And I'm going to give it a chart title. Our chart title is top profitable product by country. Top profitable by country. top profitable products. Sorry, product by country. So I'll highlight. So yeah, now we have. So what we do, I'm just going to expand this. So now we formatted our chart. So the next thing we're going to do now is now to arrange. The next thing we're going to do now is to what? Arrange our charts. So I'll put the line chart first. I'll bring the top profit table and bring the units. So adjust it, bring the discount. So these, to arrange, make sure they are. So for the chart, you can as well change the color if you want. You can as well change the color. So let's check the style. So to change the color, you just click on any of them, right click, you see fill. So you can give them any color. So let me see if I can go with, we have orange here already. We have blue, green. So let me give it, okay, which color will be fine? Okay, let me give it this color. So this one, let me give it, just right click on fill, this color. So now here is our dashboard. We have this is our dashboard. So what will happen is that I notice that, okay, let me give it more color. So go to fill. So we bring this one to the center. Bring this one to the center. So large a bit. Try to align them. So bring this one. Don't need them. Bring this one. So another thing again, you can check aligned. You can, for example, let me get make them all of them to align. So right click, format the. So now I'll do the series for the glow. So free color border. So property size. So uh, I want to give them the same size. Let me expand this one a bit. So we have 4.56. Okay. So just want to make sure that all of them the same size. And so adjust this one also. So that all find same size. Now we have all of them aligned the same size. So what I'll do is to, okay, let me bring this one to left. What I simply do was pressing holding control then clicking all of them. Just sort of doesn't need just alignment. Everything has been done. It's just for me to find. Okay. Now we have our dashboard ready. This is our dashboard. Just we have our dashboard for sales and profit performance dashboard. So you know a dashboard is incomplete when you don't have a slicer to filter what you've done. So I'm gonna do what you see on that. Once you click on any of the charts, you can go to the analyzer. You see we have inside a slicer. So I'm gonna click on the slicer. So what would you like to first? So I would like to slice with segment country. Then what else would I like to? Then month name and and product. I'm gonna click OK. So you see we have our four report slicer all year. So let me put it by the side. Because dashboard is incomplete without no slicer. Because the slicer will help to help us filter. Arrange them. So now we have our slicer. Now, one thing you need to know, let me just increase the size. So one thing you need to know right now, our slicer is not interactive. For example, now if I click on channel partner, to just filter that chart that has to do with the segment. Understand? It's going to filter that same chart which I highlighted before activating the slicer. So you see, it's only one chart which has to do with the top profitable product by country. So it's only one highlighting. So how do we solve this problem? Now, once you click on the slicer, now under the slicer option at the left hand side you see report connection. Report connection. Click on the report connection. Now you see the various chart we have here. The various chart we have here, question 1, question 2, question 3. So what you simply do is that you just need to tick all of them. Click OK. You go to the second slicer. You do the same thing. So that if you begin to slice, it's going to affect the whole chart. So go to the month name, click on it, activate it. Then the last one, the product, click on it. Click on it. Okay, now our slicer is now what? Is now connected to all our chart. So for example, now if under the segment, under the segment, so if I click on, I want to see the segment for enterprise, how they are doing, so once I click on enterprise, you see our chart now is now what? Yeah, all what now working together. Understand? If I click on government, see they're all synchronizing together, filtering together. I click on market price. So if you don't want it, you see at the top here, you see where clear filter, you click on it. So let's try the country. So I just want to see the sales and profit performance for the country Germany. So when I click on it, it will show me the information that has to do with Germany, Mexico, or United States. So let's check by the sales performance by January, what it's all about. See, Feb, March, see July, we'll see November. So let's check our product. Let's see the product Montana. How is it doing around? So here we have. So this is our dashboard with PivotTable. So what we're able to achieve here, we're able to do what? To answer these 5 questions. These questions, after answering the 5 questions based on our data given to us, and we're able to design this dashboard. This dynamic dashboard, and we have our slicer where we use to filter the dashboard. So this is how to design a dashboard in PivotTable in Excel. So if today happens to be your first time in this channel, please, I would like you to subscribe. And I would like you also to watch the other video. We have series of videos on PivotTable where we explain some formulas, what you need to do about in terms of the data PivotTable layer. So we have series of topics on PivotTable. I advise you to go through down the series and watch more. So thank you very much, and thank you for your time.